Hey, Evan,
Yes.
it is next time.
Hey, it finally came through.
Yes, our second half of our interview with Berto Colon coming up right now. Now, Ivan, I'm sorry you were quiet because and like our podcast, I take over a lot.
Well,
It's okay.
Do you have
taking in a lot of information and
well, do you have any questions for him? Because I
Yeah.
know I have some questions from Kim, my girlfriend. What do you have for Berto?
so I mean some of the stuff actually in conversation just came up, so I'm not worried about some of those things. I know we talked about it early into the discussion, like you would bring your kids with you and for your works and your auditions. Now in the later years, as you're, I would dare say, blossoming in your career,
Thank you.
how's that affecting? Because I know, like what you were just discussing about, like it sounds like you do keep a very good separation between work and home, in the
Yeah.
sense that you don't let it bleed over.
Yeah.
But now that it is blossoming, how are you working around that?
You know, I got to say that I'm very blessed. My family has responded really well. When you have kids, they don't necessarily always get the picture. I've had my moments where it's like, oh, he's not around a lot, but it's like kids just being reactionary because I'm actually around a lot, and I'm so grateful that I'm like even drives to school. Like it was so it left an indelible mark in me those mornings driving to my school in Puerto Rico with my father. Like those
Yeah.
rides, the
Mhm.
conversations with my brothers in the car, and the giggling, the themes and the things that you talk about when it's just you and your father, and then your two other brothers. For me, it's been nothing but a blessing. But you encounter challenges because you're dealing with people that, for the most part, your kids, they don't understand.
Yeah.
The way that they're gaining perspective, the way that they're viewing the world is through this lens of it's not, they're not present with their people as much as they should be,
Hmm.
so they create these ideas about the world that just lacks awareness because we're not in front of each other all the time.
Hmm.
And so I'm relegated to these wonderful morning rides or the afternoon snacks or the drives to practice. And I think it's going to take some time for them to appreciate it, but it's a beautiful, blissful experience for me because I know a lot of people don't get to do that.
Yeah.
And for me, I understood that, for example, my mom wasn't with us for like 8 or 9 years because she had, or maybe more like four, let's just say four. And we were just with our father. But I understood that even though I didn't see my mom, she was out here kind of creating a life for herself. She still loved me. She still came 2, 3 times a year. And there were the letters and the phone calls. But one of the things I talked to her a lot about sometimes is those 4 years, how difficult they were for her because she just wasn't there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So to answer your question, I mean, I'm present. I'm here. I've had some. I mean, I did a movie in Serbia. I was gone for a month and a half, and it was like at one point, all hell was going to break loose here. Like
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
hard. My wife was
Hmm.
by herself. The kids, they need that. We have to be present in our homes. Fathers need to be home. That presented as challenge, but again, it's a month, right? It's not 6 months, and
Hmm.
I haven't
Right.
gotten to the point where I'm like, away from the house for an extended period of time like that. But I'm blessed because this job has afforded me the opportunity to actually be involved with my family. Like I'm present. So the challenges, yeah, there are a lot of challenges, but it's not to the point where like I don't think I'm going to have 10 years from now, my kids are not going to say that I was like absent, which is good.
Absolutely.
In fact, I'm sustaining a home along with my wife, doing what I love. And at the same time, they'll probably say that I'm here too much, right? They would love to see me less, especially at the age they're at now. But yeah, for me, it's nothing but positive. It's been a very, very rewarding career for me thus far.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, seeing what you've done some action, you've done some drama. Is there a genre that you haven't touched on yet that that you would want to go into?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I've always want to have roles that are impactful, speak to the humanity of
Mhm.
what we do, right? Speak to the human of what we are as people, and I just want to be able to impact the story so that ultimately people are entertained, and that somebody can draw something from the things that I do and maybe apply it to their own lives or something like that. Like I don't have a genre that I would necessarily select.
You don't
I
have
think
one to
that,
gravitate to just yet.
yeah, I mean, look, the work has put me in places where I'm playing the villain a lot, which is fine.
I love villains.
Yeah, and you know what? As an actor, you do the work. You just do the work. And I think, as an audience, or even I mean, I'm part of the audience as well. I know what it's like to get in a situation where you're seeing someone play a certain type of role over and over again due to its physicality, or due to a voice, or due to whatever. But that
Well,
doesn't mean that that person doesn't have the capacity to be quiet if the person is loud.
mhm.
Yeah.
Or that doesn't mean that the person, if they're short, they can't have big presence. Like, I want to always step as far away from me as possible,
Hmm.
and I just want to immerse myself in whatever it is that I'm doing. But having said that, I'd like to definitely not play as much the villain anymore, because I think I have so much more to offer on the other side.
Yeah.
But again, I feel weird saying that, because it's really not about that for me. Work is work.
Well, Adan and I, we have a fan, not a fan, but we're a fan of, what's his name, Adan, the Asian dude that always played a villain, the Big Trouble in Little China,
Uh,
Die
I'll pull up his
Hard.
name. I
Oh,
know
Jesus Christ.
exactly who you're
He
talking
had a
about.
career as a villain.
Yeah.
And there's another guy, Latino. I think he's Mexican. He played the same kind of guy. He was in Bruce Almighty and like all that stuff. He was always like the Chicano. He had a career. And Danny Trejo.
I think you're
He's
thinking of Al Leong.
Al Long. Yes.
Long.
Yeah.
So work is work, like you said. And
Yeah.
if you can stab yourself, that's good. And there's different types.
Danny Trejo, perfect example. Like, I mean, that's him, right?
Yes.
But the guy, that's a very specific guy. I mean, and he's in the right place at the right time in his life. He went through. I mean, he was in prison for years.
Yeah.
He's
Mhm.
actually an
Yeah.
ex-con, right?
Yeah.
And he turned his life around. And I mean,
Yeah.
because of the wealth of knowledge, he basically was able to parlay that into an entire career in this business. And I mean, nothing wrong with character actors that can do that for a long, long time, in a niche sort of. So yeah, it's just very hard to speak about it in the sense of like what I prefer. I just want to do good
Right.
work. I want to do work that's like immersive and hopefully affect people in a positive way.
Do you have any interest behind the camera?
100%. I'm actually sitting right now on probably 6 or 7 different projects. One of the things I'm very lucky about too is that I'm in this process of coming up in this world. I've
Mhm.
met a ton of people, obviously. I've worked with a ton of people in the business. It's a very commonplace for a lot of actors, a lot of writers, a lot of directors, a lot of people pursuing the arts to work nightlife and to work as a server or as a bartender. And so I have a group of friends who, I mean, at this point, I have an established limited liability company, and I'm actually part of like 8 different projects right now in the works.
Nice.
So all these friends of mine have either written something or are part of a production or co-writing these different genres, from dramas to comedies to animated series to animated
What?
movies. Yeah.
Animated.
So
Oh, that's
I mean,
Adan's favorite.
the goal is to strike up a nice conversation and a nice partnership with someone, hopefully one of the producers I've already worked with. And I'm in the works of doing that as well, so that I can start either creating the work for myself. I don't know if I'm going to be directing when I act. I don't think it's something that I'm very attracted to. Just the sound of it doesn't really make sense to me. But I may be wrong about that. I guess I'd have to try it, because I don't know if I can focus on both. But I definitely want to. I definitely want to direct, and I definitely want to produce my own work, and work that I feel strong about, that I want to be part of. I'm very lucky. I'm sitting on like this library of work that potentially can keep me. I can be working for the next 20 years, God willing, if things work out. We're at different levels with each one of these projects. We've presented it to some people. Some others are still in the writing room still. But really is about, for me, is about connecting those relationships with people that, if I've already had a platform with you, if I did a good job on this, if I did a good job on that, then I can say, hey, can you give this a look? You trusted me to do this work for 2, 3 seasons. I have something that might appeal to you. Take a look, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm in the process of exploring all those opportunities with all these producers that I've worked with, and it's a slow process. In this business, it's not rare to have a script floating around the ether for 10, 12 years.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's very common. I feel very strong that some of this work will pan out, and it's just a matter of persistence.
I have friends that
Wait. You have friends?
I use the term loosely.
more than one.
But like, yeah, it's from what I understand, and it's like what you're describing, it's extremely collaborative work to working behind the camera like that, and
Yeah,
where you're making connections. The connections
yeah,
is what's the essentially the glue that binds everything that goes in for those things.
100%. I know
And,
it really, yeah,
and
it takes time, and
absolutely,
and this stuff is good, man. Like I'm sitting on some really, really good projects, really well written projects,
I
and
mean, you seem
again,
excited about it, so that's good.
because there's just so much of it, and I'm so blessed. Like literally, can you imagine just having an archive of eight potential projects that you can do that can pretty much keep you afloat for the next 10, 20 years? Like I mean, that's
Yeah.
how strongly I feel about them, and I could be wrong about maybe four of them, but
Mhm.
that leaves me with four.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if out of those four, one or two end up making it, and end up doing some
Mhm.
serious numbers, then you can start a company. You can establish yourself. You can establish a partnership. You can
Mhm.
get a deal from Netflix. You can get a deal from Amazon. You have
Mhm.
all these outlets that you can kind of. There's opportunity. It's a matter of getting somebody to sign off on it, and I think that's the most difficult part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, on IMDb, it says two upcoming projects. I did not write them down. Maybe I've unsees it,
The
so I'm
undercard,
sorry.
two movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the boxer.
the undercard is Wanda Sykes. She's a producer and lead. We shot that in Puerto Rico in about a month and a half. So that was this
Nice.
past July. About a year and a half ago, the same production company, Catalyst Studios, I went to Serbia and I shot a movie there for about a month, 6 weeks. And that one's called Switch and Bait. Sort of noir type of like LA Confidential type of like kind of cop detective
Mhm.
sort of FBI kind of deal, but it circles around two female leads, which was kind of like the deal with this company. Like Catalyst Studios really is just all about female owned, and the mission is to empower women and female projects. And so the works that they're doing are women led. Why not? I've never been the type to like keep anyone down or be against anyone
Mhm.
getting their fair share. These are talented people that are doing this work, and you know they signed off on things, and they get involved with people that they believe in. That says a lot to me. They're entrusting me with something that means a lot to them. So I'm game. The scripts were solid, and so I was happy to do it. But again, those movies are encountering now in post. The distribution and the business side of stuff is what it is. I mean, again, the challenge is sticking with it. I think especially the undercard, that one I suspect will probably be out before Switch and Bait. But I think that
Are
they're
they
both going to have a nice little splash when they do come out.
are they
Hopefully
coming out this year?
this year. I mean, that's the goal.
Mhm.
2025 is hopefully at the same time.
I mean, Switch of
Awesome.
Baits in post production.
I think they have to update that. The film is, but that's done, and then the undercard is post. I think they're
Yeah.
they're finishing it up.
I always take IMDb with a grain of salt.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a good source. It's a good source. It's just that because the same people, some people have to, especially in the independents,
Yeah.
right? Like if they're updating their stuff, then you kind of rely on an independent source to be updating that.
Not Wikipedia. Not
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
yeah.
We have a few more questions.
Sure, man. Let's go.
Adnan, do you have any
Yeah.
more? Do you have any more, Adnan?
Well, I was going to ask about like, well, I was talking to you, Angel, about what we do about nostalgia. So I was going to say like, what was I could say like top three, because I don't believe you should ever have like one movie from your past. Like if there's a top three movies that you would say is like your top go to, doesn't have to be a great movie, just something that makes you feel good watching or that you just enjoy watching. What would you say are your top
Oh,
three?
dude, man. So I mean, I'm sort of a little bit of a Rolodex when it comes to movies, but anything Daniel Day-Lewis does,
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of. Marlon Brando. Let's go with classics. So Marlon Brando in Appaloosa, and then of course Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Now was just, I mean, I still find things to this day when I go back and watch. Like I just
Mm.
and the nuances and everything that these people were doing in this film is just, for me, it's I go to it immediately.
Which is your favorite cut though? Because is there like 3, 4 versions of Apocalypse
The,
Now now?
so
There's a
this is
few.
the Redux, or
Uh-huh.
whatever what the original cut with Redux is called or something.
There is a Redux out there.
So that would be one of the top. Metropolis is another one that's always lingering in my head. And like I said, Appaloosa with Brando. But I'm just gonna say There Will Be Blood. I remember bringing that DVD to my father, and he has not stopped talking about it since watching that film. Like, I mean, he doesn't watch a lot of movies,
Yeah.
But the effect that the work had on him, I think I sort of relive it every time because it had the same effect on me.
Yeah.
You know, that scene with him in the church, I just think that was, I mean,
Daniel Day-Lewis is a global treasure.
He's the best actor of all time for me.
Yes.
Like, there's just something about the way this man transforms himself and what there's a humility and a facility that he has to do this work that is just, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone else do something. I mean, Marlon Brando, at the height of his career, on the waterfront, those performances are legendary for a reason. There's just something so organic about the way these there's just such a commitment. In Spanish, there's a phrase called entregados. So unos entregados are completely, entregados is like kind of like immersive performance, like transformative, right?
Yeah.
Like completely lost in what they're doing.
It's beyond method. It's like another entity, or
it's basically doing it. They're actually doing it. Anything with those guys. And I'm a big Ryan Gosling fan too.
Me too. Oh my God. Yeah.
Do you want to hear something crazy? Dude, I was going to fucking acting class one time on 9th Avenue. I turned the corner on 9th and I guess it was like 43 or 44 because the place that I was going. And dude, he was crossing the street and I almost fucking hit him. And he stopped. He went like that, looked at me. I looked at him. That's Ryan Gosling. And then I almost fucking ran him over on 9th Avenue years ago on my way. It was true story. It was hilarious. And I looked back and I just remember the walk, which, I just, like the way he moves. I was like, that was Ryan Gosling. Like, oh my God, I almost fucking ran over that guy. Hilarious. So, yeah, I've been a big fan.
No, I can watch him. I mean, I just love that he takes risks in different aspects.
Yeah.
The recent ones, The Fall Guy, and I loved him in Barbie. Oh my God, he stole the show for me.
Yeah, for me, it was The Notebook was a crazy performance, dude. That was so charged. There was so much going on.
I did see The Notebook, and it's actually really good.
And Blue Velvet.
What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah. And then the other one where he did with then girlfriend, but now wife, The Pines or something, Behind the Pines or something. Yeah. He's great. He's fantastic. He's another one. He's a big stud.
Real quick, I did Google it. So there's actually 4 versions of Apocalypse Now. One of them is a 5-hour cut.
Jesus. I don't think I could survive that. I know that there's one that's pretty long. Yeah. Redux something, or a director's cut. Redux is one.
Yeah, there's like theatrical final Redux, which is after that. And then the 5-hour, which people have called the Holy Grail.
Well, you know what? Let's see if we get... I may have to look that up. How long is Redux? What do you see there for Redux?
3 hours and 22 minutes.
It's not 5 hours.
It's not 5 hours.
That's not that bad. That's not,
I mean, that's on par with Lord of the Rings now at this stage.
Yeah.
Because I know my brother has those.
How long is Deer Hunter? Isn't Deer Hunter really long too, right?
That's another beautiful film.
Remember Papillon?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That one was on repeat for a while. That was one of the first movies I saw on HBO when it came out.
Remember when I was telling him on one of our podcasts, you remember when HBO only came out on the weekends?
So it was, for me, I thought it was nighttime. Wasn't it just at night or something? Or I don't remember just the weekend deal.
Yeah, for me it was like weekend, and then it was like weekend, and then night during the week.
During the week.
But yeah, and it was Ben Stiller's parents. They were hosting or emceeing that, like there's like this coming up, this movie, blah blah. So they had little snippets to introduce the show or movie, and then that trailer, that iconic.
The lead up to the town, the city, the making of that. Remember the making of that? Like there was an actual camera inside of like this miniature world that just kind of trailed like a steady cam. Yeah. That was crazy.
For me, I'm going to talk about a little bit about me right now.
Yeah.
So you remember the movie channel?
Say again?
The movie channel.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So I got hired to do the intro. I wore the bodysuit.
Wow, dude.
That was me. And that was the same guy. Like I auditioned and got the part. And for Max Payne, they saw how I moved for my audition. And then they hired me for Max Payne to do like the stunt work on that stuff. So yeah, so the intro, I have the tape somewhere, but the intro, like feature presentation, blah, blah, blah.
Wow, dude.
That's a long time. It doesn't, they don't exist anymore.
Wow.
Adhan, did you find, or were you
About
looking up
Deer,
something?
yeah, I was looking up Deer Hunter. So that one's 3 hours 3 minutes. So just
So again,
shy.
not 5 hours. Not 5 hours. Yeah.
No, because I mean that
Oh,
was one of the I should have mentioned that as an all time. That's one of my top 10 too, all time, man.
De Niro, Christopher Walken. Oh God, that was so good. How about all the not all the right moves? Is it all the right moves?
All the with Tom Cruise.
No, there's another one, and I think it is a similar title, but Tom Cruise, yeah, that's a great film. I guess
Man.
that's one of his early running when he started running because he was running in that movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with his jacket, varsity jacket. But anyway, there's another one where oh God damn,
Yeah.
it's about military vets, and one like tries to commit. That's how it starts. Like tries to commit suicide. He jumps off a building, lands on a taxi, breaks every bone, so he fails in committing suicide. And it's like that, I guess, rebirth or refinding himself.
It's Tom Cruise.
No, it's not Tom Cruise. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Do
There's
you
still
remember
today,
what year it was, or
A while back, I guess.
late 70s, early 80s.
the way you're describing this, bro, makes me feel like I'm back at Blockbuster. Like it was
Yeah,
a
but
film with a
it was
guy.
a film. Yeah, it was about a guy, like people from the military from Vietnam dealing with PTSD, and he was one of them.
Not
And
Magnolia.
no,
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 not
no, that's
Magnolia.
way back, way
That
back.
was 2000 now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do have some questions from Kimberly, my girlfriend, and my
Yes.
partner. So, and Adan, you asked a couple of them, so thank you.
Yeah.
What has been your most memorable character and why?
Oh man. Well, I honestly think that obviously Lorenzo Tejada was probably the most memorable one in Ghost Power Book 2.
Mhm.
I just think there was something about that guy that, well, I'll tell you why, personally for me, why it became, because it started out as a simple co-star deal. It just started out as a simple guest star in 3 episodes. And, the story blossomed into, I became series regular. And I mean, that role changed my life, like being hired as a series regular just changed everything. I got out of debt. I put money away. I got a house. It was my arrival in the business. And so for me, that was it. I think that's the most memorable thus far. I think there will be a time where the next role is going to surpass that. But until then, I think that was one of the more. And just getting back from doing The Night Agent, I started shooting that in Thailand and ended up coming to the States and finishing it out here. So I think those two they rank pretty high among the top 2 roles, and they were complex. There was a human element to them that I really gravitated towards. There was a humanity that they had that I enjoyed, and I really did enjoy kind of like immersing myself in their world and creating this backstory for both of them, and it worked out really well. I mean, for Lorenzo, the fact that he had this family that was very like complex and kind of like this crazy situation with the wife and the kids.
Mhm.
He was leading them into this world of crime and selling and being a drug lord and a kingpin and all that. And just that whole idea of being in that world for me personally has always been such a far concept for me to ever grasp. I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up in the city, and I've had friends who were involved in that world. But for me personally, it's just something that is very far removed, and to have been able to kind of dive and create that reality and do a decent job of kind of recreating a world that I think was pretty accurate. I think that was for me I parlayed it into becoming a series regular, and I think that speaks volumes for the work that not just that I did, but that collectively what was done on that set or what was done over those 2-3 years. I enjoyed the hell out of that. I really, really, it changed my life in so many ways. And for that reason alone, I'll always have a special place in my heart for it.
For The Night Agent, because you mentioned that, and she has a question for that as well. Now, so I'm sorry if I misheard. You started as a small role in Thailand, and then it grew as well?
No. The setting, the whole story, everything gets set up in Thailand.
Right.
In the story. And then, we go international and we come to the States.
So for that, in a sense, for The Night Agent, this is her words, were you able to explore Thailand? Did you have any free time to experience?
Great question. So I did. We were in Bangkok for, I guess it was about 5 weeks. Beautiful, great country. But if I have to do it again, I think Bangkok is a week at most for me.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that in any kind of like derogatory way. I just think that it is a crazy, crazy city. It's congested. There's bikes. There's craziness all over the place. It is just it's just overpopulated, and everyone's going at like 45, 50 miles an hour on like the sidewalks. It's a beautiful culture. The food is amazing. But if I had to do it over again, I would love to be closer to the coast. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Again, and 5 weeks is not really a long time. But I really didn't get to, I couldn't stray away too far from, the most I got in between was 1 or 2 days, 3 days. So it takes a day and a half to get there. Like it's a full day. You're flying for 24 hours. Okay. And then, you got to kind of assimilate. You got to break out of that cycle of the jet lag because you're in a completely different time zone. And so it took 3 days after landing before we even started the work. And then it was like 2 or 3 days on, 2 days off, three days, let's say 18 shooting days inside of like maybe 27 days, which only gave me about a 1 or 2 day gap in between those 3 to 4 consecutive day sets. And I enjoyed it a lot. And Night Agent, this night, we always shot at night. Everything always happens at night. So you did have your days, but you were resting. But yeah, and Bangkok is it's a beautiful city. It's especially on an American salary, like you live like a king, right? There's a lot of really great benefits. And the people are amazing, super respectful, super loving, like very spiritual people that live there. The culture, I have a lot of respect and I have a lot of, admiration for the way that those people, their society and the way they live, but it's just a little too, it's just like very congested. But, again, I'll go back. I just don't know if I can go back for 4 weeks or 5 weeks, but it gets to be nuts. Phuket is going to be my next experience.
Why?
One of the most beautiful beaches in the world. I mean, the coastline and any of those beaches there. Tahiti, any of that region, the coast in that region is it's world class. So hopefully on my next visit, I'm going to definitely try to stay coastal.
I thought it was because of the Muay Thai training.
I do a lot of CrossFit. I mean, I play football. That was my game, and I'm still very active. I surf, and although I don't surf as much as I used to, but
cool.
I wouldn't mind taking some classes or diving into some of that stuff because it does look interesting. But man, it looks hard. I'm assuming it could be a very humbling experience for an older guy like me now to try to begin to do that kind of work. But for someone like you who's been kind of like doing that his whole life, I think that you would. Have you ever been actually?
No, I've never been to Thailand. I've been to Japan, and but I went there for a tournament and things of that nature. I won. Thank you.
I
actually landed. I landed. We did a short. We had a short stop in Japan on the way to Thailand, but I didn't get out. I didn't get out at all.
It's a gorgeous country. Everything is freaking clean. Even though it's crazy and all that stuff and crowded, like Times Square sometimes. It's just like you don't see trash.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
Angel, didn't you go to Shinjuku? Like, is that where you went? Yeah. Okay.
I went to Shinjuku.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. And I was there like for a week. It was for like a tournament. My dojo, is international. The style.
You guys went there, and that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, we went there for
what year?
A tournament. Oh my God. Definitely before I left New York.
Wow. So before 2013.
Oh, way before 2013.
Wow.
I would probably say like 2008. I don't know. I can't remember. I have the medal somewhere.
Okay.
But, it was point fighting. It was not full contact. And I'm hearing about me bragging about myself again. I competed with a broken hand with a cast.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that.
We had a tournament in New York at Hunter College. As I was doing the initial break, the qualifying break, I dislocated my knuckle, my finger, like it popped out.
Wow.
So then I finished it, and I broke with the other hand, won that tournament. But for Japan, it was like a month later, because it was around Thanksgiving of that year, November, that I competed with a cast trying to keep everything in place.
Wow, dude. Talk about commitment, huh?
And I won with a roundhouse, front lead leg roundhouse to the head to my senior.
Wow, dude.
To my senior. And I was unexpected that happened. Yeah, it was just, in the moment, like in acting, it just happens naturally.
Yeah.
You don't think about it, it's a reaction.
Just react, yeah.
Yes, is organic. And yeah, my foot would hit to his head. It was like a Karate Kid moment, if you will.
Triumphant. Good for you, man.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah,
awesome.
It was humbling as well, because it was my master, my senior, like I said, that I respected a whole lot. So do you have, again, I don't want to take too much of your time.
No, you're good, man.
We'll pass.
Love this.
But all the years you've been working and acting, of course, performing and stuff like that, do you have a funny moment, like a mishap or like a happy accident? Holy
So
shit!
I'll tell you before, it's one that I talk about all the time because I worked with Ian McShane.
No way. You worked with Winston?
No,
Because I'm sorry,
he's a huge
I'm
fan
getting,
of Ian McShane.
I'm like a little kid now,
So, so Angel, pump your brakes.
I know.
I worked on the show called Kings, which was a series that was shot here in New York. Ian McShane was the lead, the guy who played Trump in the most recent movie.
Oh, Sebastian Shaw.
Sebastian Stan.
I'm sorry, Sebastian Stan. Thank
Yeah.
you. Sorry.
I was pretty much like a glorified extra because I was his bodyguard. I was his bodyguard for all 10 episodes, right? Like I just worked with I worked with Ian the whole time. He knew my name. Basically me either tailing him or in front of him. It was and it was a beautiful, beautiful series. I mean, it didn't do well, but no expense was spared. I mean, this was a big, big production for NBC, and it only went one season, and I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, but before you go, I remember one of my friends was in it. He was in the
Yeah.
pilot.
Yeah, there's a lot of it was a lot of work. It was good work for a lot of people in New York. It was a big production that went on for a good while. I mean, we shot all the way from Oyster Bay to the New York Public Library on 42nd. We were all over the place, you know. Fordham University. We shot all over the place, and I had sort of put together a DVD of like my highlights. And it was the last day on set, and I mustered up the strength to knock on his door on the set. And I actually walked in, and we sat down, and we chatted, and I just kind of was like, listen, I was nervous, I couldn't really speak, and I just I basically asked him, you know, what would he recommend, or what would he say to a young actor like myself? What do I need to do? What are the steps that I need to take? And then I had this DVD that I was going to hand him somehow. And man, it was like a moment in my life that I'll never forget, because he basically said that there's nothing he can say. No paths are equal. There is no real way for him to express or put into words what this journey is going to be like. His is completely different from mine, and mine is completely different from the next person. So and it wasn't like a deflating moment, because I mean, I left the CD, and I don't even so this focus that I had on giving him the DVD with all my highlights and like a reel, right? I just shifted completely, you know. And it was funny because it was like almost like a diss, or like I'm like he was not nasty to me. He was so brutally honest. And just like looked me in the eye and talked to me and said, you're very talented. I can tell you have a lot to offer. But it was almost like I would be doing you a disservice if I tried to sit here and give you advice. Don't take advice. Don't listen to anyone. Our journeys are also very different. There's no way to define what this work is. That I couldn't possibly begin. And it was so impactful. You know, it was like a moment where I could, oh my God, this is like, you know, what is he saying here? I mean, do I not have a shot in this? Is that basically, because I mean, that could have been one interpretation that I could have easily had.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He doesn't want to give, you know, he doesn't want to converse with me. He doesn't want to even share with me after all. Like, I mean, I could have gone a different, but it was just like, wow, like, all right, you know, and I was already studying a little bit. I was starting to kind of get my feet wet with acting and the training. And my teacher had already mentioned that idea that you're going to sacrifice 10 to 15 years before you see the light of day. Like, it just put a lot of things in place. And it was just a moment that kind of like, I don't know if there was a massive, I didn't start suddenly working after that, but it was a mindset where I just kind of like said, well, you know, I got to buckle up. You know, I just have to buckle up and go for this ride. If this is really for me, like I kind of put all these eggs in one basket of like maybe having him give me something like, well, maybe he'll recommend me to his agent. Really? Like, why? Why would anyone do that? You know, I'm not even on the cast list. Like, why? I haven't even interacted with this man. But it was the sincerity and the way in which he spoke to me at that time. And the fact that I was in a room with this world-class, you know, movie star. Like, I mean, Ian McShane he's just, and everything he does, you know, everything that man
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
and
Like, I can just,
such a gifted actor.
yeah, I can watch him breathe.
Yeah.
Watch him breathe and just
Yeah. He's a force. And so, yeah, I always think of that moment because it was, I don't know if it was like me being so cavalier and knocking on this man's dressing room, like, but he let me in, like he opened the door.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, I would say that was the moment. That was one of those crazy, peculiar funny moments that didn't turn out to be so funny, didn't even turn out to be that, it was incredibly beneficial, wasn't funny at all.
I mean, it sounds like like an extremely sincere and genuine moment, which
Yeah,
even
dude,
in life, that's a rarity.
yeah, it's rare, and it's not like there was a lot to hold on to there other than the reality,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the advice. It's like to just rely on yourself, to trust yourself, and to just don't wait for advice with this work because there just isn't.
Yeah.
What is it about performing that keeps you going?
Dude, there's a sense of being alive, right? People talk about like purpose. I find so much purpose in this work that I do. It's like, extremely rewarding, and there's a sense of being alive and a sense of just achieving something. Not saying, "Oh, I'm on TV, I'm famous." Nah, it's just like this idea that someone's trusting you with their words, and they're relying on you to create this art, to entertain, or not just entertain, but kind of live in the space. And people want to see that. People want to escape to that. And that is so thrilling for me. That idea of being in that space and like even just hearing the sounds of like, okay, cut or action or like just and someone else has like the same agenda as you do. Like I think it's such a unique experience, like that collaborative process of just living and recreating a human experience for people to see, people to view in a theater or whatever medium it is. It's just recreating that life is something that brings life itself, like it brings life onto us, gives you life, when you're doing that. So that's what keeps me going. I think that's what we all want to feel like. The last 4 days, I've been having, these wonderful, big auditions for big things. And I've been lucky enough to find someone to have a space to read and to prepare these self-tapes. But the wonderful part about that is that it feels like I'm already doing it because the commitment that they have to making sure that I send in a really good tape kind of allows me to fully immerse myself. And actually, it's more than just an audition. It's like a performance. So I thrive on that. I live for that. It's something that it's a very addicting feeling that I can do it for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Addicting. Yeah, because no, I can relate. I can relate in that sense. Yeah, and you were saying it before, like when you get your mindset on something, then you're locked in. And you said sometimes it's a good thing, but also it could be a bad thing.
Yeah.
When you were saying that, it's like that's kind of like almost an addiction, but this addiction that you have is actually very beneficial.
Very beneficial. Yeah. There's good types of addiction. I mean, hopefully, if you can be addicted on good things, I guess you're going to have a very long, prosperous life versus the opposite.
Right.
You're addicted to vices and to unhealthy things.
Yeah.
You're going to be pursuing those things, and no one's going to be able to get you off of them. It's going to be very difficult for you yourself to come off of something that you are addicted to that's not healthy or good for you. Could be many things: relationships, drugs, anything.
Video games,
anything.
Toy collection.
Yeah, well, that doesn't seem like it's a very harmful addiction to have. It's entertainment, it's not that.
But no, but in a sense, like like say, like okay, you like for us, me and my brother, like. And we've had these talks off camera, buy all this stuff, but then you can't afford like your rent or your stuff in your car or stuff like that. Or you play video games and you're like, oh, just one more level, and you got to be at work in 2 minutes, and it's an hour away.
Yeah, I mean it's
harmful in that way too. Yeah. Is there an actor, writer, or director you'll love to work with?
I would love to work with Benicio del Toro. I've always envisioned me playing his son or me playing his brother. I think temperamentally, I'm just very compatible to that guy. Mm-hmm. He's a chameleon. He's a real Boricua guy, and anytime I see him work, there's a sense of there's a danger that foreboding danger. That's somebody that I always thought about. And then I got to work with this actor in Puerto Rico who's sort of a legend, teacher, well-known theater actor. His name is Teofilio Torres. He's got to be one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the guy just has this facility to work, and I'd love to work with him too. Maybe play his son one day because he's taught me a lot. We've had some very good moments. We actually did a poetry festival in Puerto Rico together.
Oh, nice.
And from that moment on, we've become good friends, stayed in touch. And he actually has one of the scripts that I'm looking to do in Puerto Rico,
Okay.
not as a producer, but as an actor. And the producer is a good friend of mine. The writer is a good friend of mine, and we're looking for good actors to play certain roles. And it's a really good movie about a Christmas in Puerto Rico. Let's just leave it there.
Okay, my girl's gonna love that.
Yeah,
Come
and
holiday season.
it's a very beautiful film, and I think Teo would be. He would be the most amazing father in that, and it needs to be a person like that can carry a lot of person with a lot of presence, but there's something about their life experience that is in their physicality and on their face. You know, there's a clarity, and you can see sort of life in el rostro, in their face, on their faces. So hopefully, in the
All
works.
right, that is way awesome. Now we're going to finish up, and I don't want to, but similar to like inside the actor studio, there's questions at the end.
Okay.
Some of them kind of repeat. So one word answers is fine. Some of these can pertain to either people in the business or people in your personal life. There's 14 questions here. There might be 15, but first one, who would you like to have coffee with that's no longer with us?
Oh, that's interesting. You know, my grandmother, my father's mom, both of them. You know, I lost them both when I was very young, and it would just be nice to kind of recap with them. You know, I think either one of them. I spent a lot of time with my father's, my paternal grandmother, Momcita. My first daughter has her middle name. I think her, or Mami Luz, my mother's mom. She was around a lot longer, so I got to spend more time with her. I think she didn't get to meet any. She didn't get to meet any of the grandkids. She almost lasted all the way up until the first grandkid. She got to meet one of the grandkids inside of my uncle's daughter, but never got to meet one of mine great granddaughters, I should say. So yeah.
Who would you like to have coffee with that's alive?
Oh man, it'd be nice to pick Obama's brain to ask him what he thinks of.
I was thinking that.
I just think that
Oh
when that
my
guy,
God, yes.
I think that the world was sane. I mean, the world was so different with that guy in charge. What we're living through now is just, I don't know. I just love to sit with him and say, dude, what the fuck? Man, when you left us with this. Can you come back? Can you rewrite laws? Can you figure something out? Because I'm doing it.
Right. No, yeah. There was a thing I posted on Facebook a long time ago, is when the other guy won, and it was like pieces of Jenga.
Yeah.
And Obama put it all together smoothly.
Somehow.
Right? Smoothly.
Somehow.
And then after he put the Jenga pieces back together and make that beautiful tower, here comes the other guy.
No, just here comes everyone else. It's just not one. It's everyone else.
Well, true.
Yeah, everybody else
But
came
I'm saying,
in.
like, but he comes in and says, I got it from here. It says, no, I just put it together. No, I got it from here. And he put it together. And then, like, he's leaving the room with the other guy with that Jenga built up. And he's just like nervous to leave. And then when he leaves, he hears
all the pieces
fall down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like,
it's a good analogy. I feel that one.
Now, this is kind of somewhat related to, in a sense, instead of coffee, who would you like to have a drink with that's no longer with us? So it's different.
Yeah, a drink that's no longer with us. Man, I think I would enjoy getting fucked up with Brando, but that would be.
Oh my God, that'd be like your kidney need to be.
That would be pretty crazy.
That would be all right.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. I think that's probably my go-to right there. Be nice to have a couple of cocktails. And
what is your cocktail of choice?
I'm a mezcal paloma right now. I'm a big tequila guy now. I worked for Kettle One for years, so I've always been a vodka drinker, club soda. I became a big espresso martini guy with Kettle One Orange. But as of late, it's been more of the tequila, agave spirits, and mezcal, a nice smoky, aged, very artisanal mezcal paloma. Been hitting the spot lately.
Nice.
And who would you like to have a drink with that is still around among us?
Why don't I like to have a drink with, that's weird. I should be able to give you that right away. It'd be interesting to have a drink with I don't know why, but I'm thinking musical person. I'm thinking artist. I don't know why, but Bono. Bono would be interesting to have a couple cocktails with, just pick his brain.
Yeah.
I don't know why that name comes to mind. Let's say Bono.
You got it. All right. Do you have a favorite toy?
Toy.
Toy. No, it'd be like a car or something like that aspect. Doesn't have to be a car, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, like a toy. Like
maybe,
my,
Like,
I'm actually a big car guy, so I would say yeah.
oh,
But my favorite, my favorite would probably be my car. I love my car.
do you mind if I ask you what are you driving?
So my dream car was M4, and I achieved it.
oh,
I have,
nice.
I have a F82 M4 that I competition that I black on red. It's insane. I mean, the fact that I found it, and it's 6 speed. The fact that I found that, it's just been, and I've actually been able to do quite a few nice things to it. So it's looking more like a GTS now. So it's insane. It's just a beautiful, beautiful car. Well balanced,
Nice.
fast enough. I mean, I'm sure that there's others that are faster, but just the sensation that you get when you drive that car. That's my favorite toy for sure.
Do you take it out
Nice.
to any place to like let it run?
No, I mean I just opened it up a few times. Traveling highway. I've
Yeah.
gotten up to like 110, 115 maybe. I think that's probably the peak. 110, 120. It's
Oh boy.
scary.
I bet.
It's really scary. I am planning to go and do some circuit. I've had some conversations with a couple of people about autocrossing it.
Uh-huh.
Not against other vehicles, but just laps
Mhm.
around and
Yeah.
things like that.
You mean like a
But
cannibal run?
huh?
A cannibal run? Like a
No, no, no.
cannibal run?
Autocross is like a closed circuit.
Yeah.
No, I know.
There's a few good tracks around here, Connecticut, down South Jersey. There's
Mhm.
a few good ones.
Do you have you taken lessons?
I did a BMW course a little while ago, but that was just it was nothing. It was nothing. It was like a day. It was like a
Okay.
1 day deal at some turns, some curves and cones. They had some. I guess it was the 2023 or 2022 models when they a couple of 4 Series, couple of 3 Series models. It's just promotional stuff that some dealers
Mhm.
here in Jersey do, and they
Gosh.
give
Okay.
you not the M cars, but like the M packaged cars, like the M packaged
Mhm.
4 Series or the M packaged 3. I drove an XM. I don't know if you've seen that. It's incredible. It's like half electric, half it's a hybrid. So, but
Wow.
yeah, I'm a big car guy. Definitely love the speed. Definitely love the toys.
See, for me, it's motorcycles, and
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
I love the
I
rides.
rode dirt bikes as a kid. I had one. My father raced them in Puerto Rico, so we were big dirt bike kids. I
Mhm.
fell pretty hard in high school, and I almost basically ruined my career. So I think I have a healthy fear of them. Got on one or two street bikes. It's not enough. The- God bless you. Stay blessed. I mean, I just not for me. Not for me.
Yeah.
What was your favorite childhood movie growing up? I know you mentioned some, but in the sense like
Yeah.
as a
So for the
kid.
childhood movie, I think The Outsiders too was another one.
Oh, yeah.
Escape from New York is a movie that will live in infamy for me. It's just a movie that so many elements of it. My father was there watching it with us. We watched it several times. The whole idea, and
Mhm.
then I ended up coming to New York. Right, there was something
Mhm.
about
Mhm. Mhm.
the whole idea that the entire borough was like a jail.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just that left a mark. That left a mark.
What is your favorite movie as an adult? And I think you said Let There Be Blood. But
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I mean, it just depends
yeah,
on your day. I mean, let's just
yeah.
go with One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay. Fair enough.
Another classic.
Yeah,
That's
One Flew
another.
Over the Cuckoo's Nest is because I
Yeah, yeah.
fucking laughed, dude. And I remember that was a recommendation from my stepfather. We didn't always see eye to eye, but I remember that I was so happy that he made that recommendation because I watched that movie like 4 times in three. It was just like I just kept repeating it, and I found something funnier and something great. But there was also the tragic aspect of the
Mhm.
film,
Mhm.
right? There's a very sad story, but just those performances, man, and the
Well,
humor.
the names too. Nurse Ratchet.
Oh my
What
god.
she does to them. She's just
Yeah,
like
she just squeezes the life out of every single one of them. She's supposed to
yeah,
be taking care of them. I mean, there's so
yeah,
many ways you could analyze what
yeah.
the dynamics but yeah, the chief breaks
Mhm.
through the bars and
Yeah.
frees himself.
I'm sorry. Did you read the book?
I have not. No, I have not.
Because I think it's taken from his perspective.
Okay,
I think. I could be wrong, but it's also cool
I'd
that
have to. That's probably
yeah.
a good idea. I should probably write. That's another one that I have to look into. I got to look into the Apocalypse, the original 5 hour cut, and then I got to go get that book.
Yeah, and what's cool too about that is you have the Joker and the Penguin in that movie together, and
Yes,
so it's kind of cool.
that's insane. That's a good one.
Yeah. You still go to the movies, yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what is your go-to movie snacks like setup?
I mean, I'm a big nacho and cheese guy.
I'll do
And
that over
wash it,
popcorn.
That
wash
over
that.
popcorn any day. I mean, I got to double dip on the cheese, get the extra cup for cheese on the side, and make sure it's super hot. I got to start eating it right away. I'm a nacho guy when it comes to, and dude, it is disgusting because you seen the stuff that they give you now.
I went the other day, and one of my friends was like, "I'm gonna get the pretzel," and I'm like, "You know that's a large pretzel."
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, of course." And it came
So
out like the size of a pizza.
yeah. I got a good one most recently, which was, the bag was Tostitos. Like it's not even like the open one when it's actually warmed and they prepare.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
It was all kind of like packaged, prepackaged, and they just heat it up. The cheese was hot, but the chips are in a bag. But at least it was not stale. Because I remember when I started on that, dude. I remember the flavors were so like the Hawaiian punch drink with the nacho and the cheese.
I used to get the jalapenos on the side.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
What makes you smile?
My family. Every time I know that they're doing well, I live for that, and that's my immediate family, my kids, my wife, and just my father, my mom, my brothers. I just that makes me. I'm very lucky man.
What is your pet peeve?
Just a terrible dislike for gossip. I'm also, not very good at dealing with liars. Like I have such an adverse reaction to. It's a big pet peeve of mine, man. It's just like it's insulting on so many levels when someone tries to perpetrate lies, especially when they don't have to. Look at the environment we live on. Look at the eroding values that we have in our society now. I think a lot of it stems from people not being accountable and not being honest.
Yeah,
we've created a lane for this kind of lifestyle in our society for people to just literally lie to you to your face. They try to tell you that what you're seeing is not what you're seeing. And I mean, once you've reached that level, like, what do we do after that? What is there? So yeah, lying is a big one.
Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Yeah, I do have a few, but I'll just say that I do like cereal at night.
Okay. Yeah, I do that
I
too once
love
in a
a
while.
bowl of Golden Grams at night, or a bowl of Rice Krispies with sugar, or Captain Crunch. Oh my
Yeah.
god! Like a cereal at night, it's a problem. That's my guilty little. Yeah, that's bad.
Okay. What is one thing people get wrong about you?
Well, I mean, I think people always assume that I'm very like maybe like I have this tough exterior, but deep down inside, I'm just like a little bit of a bitch. I'm somewhat emotional and sentimental, but I don't think my exteriors really convey that message very well.
Right.
And that's a big kind of thing that I give off
Yeah. Sometimes I cry at certain commercials.
for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I see a certain commercial, I'm crying. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Why is this happening right now? Like, well, I mean,
Yeah.
you asked me about who I want to have coffee, and I had to contain myself.
Yeah, I did see that. If you weren't acting or weren't doing football, which is one of your
Yeah,
dreams, what other profession would you be doing?
without a doubt, F1 driver. Like, I mean, I just wanted to drive. Whether it was F1, Indy, open car, fast, no NASCAR, no ovals, open circuit, rally, something in a car, long race, Le Mans, 12 hours of or Nürburgring, whatever. Just any circuit, any car, just balls out 160, 180, 150, 100, just going fast in a car, circuit, taking turns, banked turns, flat, long straights. I mean, I'm just fascinated by. I've gone to 4 or 5 races. I've been lucky enough to finally now as an adult. I'm a big F1 fan.
Have you attended any?
Oh yeah, dude. I've been to Texas. I've been to Vegas. I plan on Canada, and I plan on doing Florida. And somewhere
Okay.
down the line, my brothers and I have been discussing Mexico.
Final question, and it may be a little morbid, and I apologize for this. But if this was your last day,
Yeah,
what would be your last meal?
I thought about this: fried pork chops, some rice and beans, some tostones, and a malta.
Oh, that does seal the deal.
Like, yes, but okay. So,
But check this out: if I can do a vanilla ice cream float or a vanilla ice cream malta, like
yes,
have
bro,
you ever
we've done
had
that. We've done that.
Yeah.
It's
Dude.
delicious.
Yes, it is.
It is delicious.
Forget it, man. Like, I mean, the seal the deal, sign me up. That would be the shake, vanilla ice cream, mouth to float, some pork chops, nice thick center cut bone, a nice little, maybe even a can style pork chop with just the most, my grandmother's rice and beans,
Mm-hmm.
some pumpkin in it. You know,
Oh
some of
my
the
God.
what is the achota leaves that sometimes get left
Uh-huh.
behind. Oh my God, bro, I can't do this.
So, so
That would be it.
you would like it prepared by your grandmother, like a
Well,
grandmother's recipe. Well,
Your
grandmother's recipe.
that recipe would have to
Yes.
be,
Because
yeah,
I don't remember like on our side, Angel, like our grandma's using pumpkin.
yeah. They're
Wait a
soft.
minute. You know what? I think
They kind
so.
of melt.
They did?
They sort of
Yeah.
get like very, they get very soft, and it's like they almost melt in your mouth with the beans. They
No one
sometimes
told
people
me.
Well,
do potatoes.
yes,
Yeah,
like
we
sweet
did that.
potatoes.
Onions are very
Hmm.
typical because it really becomes a guisado. Like the beans
Yeah.
are being like, that's a meal in and of itself.
Don't get me wrong. I like pumpkin, so it sounds delicious. Like
Yeah,
I don't remember
and
having it, but
calabaza. I
that's
got
good.
like small little calabaza bits in there. Oof, man.
Grandma on mom's side,
Yeah.
she will cook. She
Yeah,
could cook
dude.
a storm, and like the pork chop, like you said, you taste that salt, you savor it.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
taught me how to fry them in water, dude. Like I'm
oh.
actually able to fry my pork chops in water. Like that's how much
Mhm.
we believe in that. Like I mean,
Yeah,
pork is it's a staple, you know, and
yes.
Absolutely.
people here
Hmm.
have their feelings about it, and that's fine. But for us, it's a
Oh
staple.
no, yeah. It's part of the culture, part of the menu,
Yeah,
and part of our lifestyle
it's a
or
staple for
livelihood.
us. Yep.
Yeah.
So you guys are brothers. Obviously, we're more. I mean, you're actually related, or like, are you?
Yeah,
No, we're
yeah, we are.
you can't see the resemblance.
Yeah, no, yeah,
You
I can
can't
see
see
it
the
right away. I mean, probably a different mom with the same father for sure.
Oh, different dads, same
no
mom.
different. It's
Look at
reversed.
that. Look at
Yeah.
It's
that.
reversed. Yeah. I'm Alicea. He is Rodriguez.
Yep.
Rodriguez. Okay.
All right, Berto. I don't want to take any more time. This is like more than enough. You gave
Nah,
us
yeah, dude, I'm
way
having
too
fun.
much.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. This was a get together. This wasn't a podcast.
Yes.
This was just a gathering.
I hope I can reach out to you if I ever go to New York for the visit. I can reach out to you. Maybe we can have a drink, meet
Yeah,
up for a little bit. And when you come down for F1, whenever that is, or whenever you come down to Miami, you
yeah.
always have a place here to stay, or I can take you somewhere. We can have a drink, a
Yeah.
cocktail. We're gonna have
We'll keep it definitely. We'll keep it going now that we reconnected, brother. That's for sure. I'm
yeah,
into that,
definitely.
and I extend the same invitation to you, man. Mi casa, su casa. I'm in Jersey, so just let me know with some time because if I could meet you
No,
in
of
the city, it'd
course.
be great.
Yeah, definitely. And keep rocking, keep climbing, and all the best to you and your
You as well.
family. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Well, listen, man. I love it. Thank you guys for making me part of this experience. It's an honor, and good luck to you guys. Keep doing it.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate it,
you.
man.
All right,
Have a great
fellas. Have
night.
a great night. Thanks.
You too.
Good
Bye
night,
bye.
bro. Good seeing you.
Same here.
All right.
So that was what? That was 2 hours long, over 2 hours long. We were supposed to go for an hour.
Yes. Actually, that was a lovely experience talking with him. He seems like a very cool guy. I could see why you were friends with him.
Well, we reconnected mainly because we're part of the same Rebel Alliance, if you will.
Sure.
And I wanted to respect him in his, for his profession and stuff like that. Like I said, during our past podcast, when I mentioned him, when we did auditions, we were always friendly with each other. And we knew some of the same people. Like I said, I mentioned that once we dated the same person at different times, but of the same person in that sense. Like New York is so huge and so small at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the same business. And he's a prime example is don't give up. If that's your dream, if that's your passion, don't give up. And with me, I did. I mean, I tried a little bit here in Florida. I got some gigs here and there, but I didn't have the hunger that he had and still has. And I'm just so happy for him. Yeah, he says no, he has, I guess, typecast of being the villain and he wants to branch out. But at the time, if you get the work,
you get the
you
work.
get the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his work to his favor, he has, until my knowledge, until Power 2 Ghost, the show produced by 50 Cent, until then he was having a lot of small roles, 2 episodes here.
I mean, he got a little bit of a recurrent on Orange is the New Black, but still, like.
But yeah, but exactly. So, and Power 2, Power Book 2, Ghost, that really catapulted.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Launch, catapulted. Yeah.
Yeah, his career to a good place where he, like he mentioned, he is able to meet and work with people that he's worked with and then branch off and to develop new projects, possibly do things behind the camera instead of having multiple ventures in the industry.
True.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I did like normal to control the
Well,
conversation.
I was cool with it because the two of you were rehashing, getting, catching up and everything like that. It's very natural and it was very good. I think for me, like I was enjoying watching the conversation alone. So that's why I wasn't interrupting because I was enjoying the interaction between you two. A lot of what he had to say, I was really into what he was saying. So I was staying quiet because I was just more focused on listening.
I'm kind of glad that like I was able to ask him some things that he never thought of before.
Yeah,
because he's been interviewed multiple times.
yeah.
for
Oh,
his
yeah.
project.
I tried to do a little research and see a lot of interviews. I'm like, I'm gonna end up asking the same thing here.
Well, you did cover some questions that Kim had wanted to ask.
Yeah.
So I was like, thank you. And so
It's like, how are we gonna work this in? Let me just ask this.
yeah.
Because and when you're trying to get those interviews, it's kind of interesting, like to try to find something unique, but everybody's trying to like find out about this individual. So you end up asking
Mhm.
some similar questions over and over again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true too, because some people may watch or listen to the podcast where others won't. And so we were afraid to ask the same things.
Yeah.
Like the basic stuff,
Mhm.
but sometimes you have to. But my God, he worked with Ian McShane.
He worked with a lot of people,
Yeah,
a lot more
yes,
people than I anticipated.
no,
And
he did, but like Ian McShane is like one of those like
yeah, when you're bucket list people, I know it's for
yeah,
you.
Deadwood, the John Wick series, even in Hercules, I loved him in Hercules with The Rock.
Listen,
And
Ian McShane
and
has literally played a god. So
right, what was that show again? I think
American
what was that show?
Gods
Yeah, American Gods.
comes on
Yes,
my feed all the time.
Was he Zeus? No,
No, he played Odin.
Odin. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. Yeah, I saw like a couple of episodes, but
No, I watched
I'm
all
like,
of season one.
my God,
He's actually
wow.
fantastic in that show too.
It's good to see things or hear things when good things happen to good people.
Yeah,
That's what makes it that much special or rewarding. Or what for him is rewarding, but like for me, someone I know, like I was like, yes,
it's like heartwarming to see like positive things could go to good people, as you're saying. And he's very humble, and like you can see, he puts his family in the forthright, but
Mhm.
still is able to pursue his passion, which is kind of reassuring. Because let's be honest, a lot of us out here, myself included, we'll go to work, we'll do stuff, and I'm not gonna say it's my passion to be driving out to my job.
right,
It's my passion to get my paycheck, but it's
right,
not my
right.
passion to do what I do, even though like it's for someone else. Like, and like you said, he's blessed, and it's good to see that,
No, it is. It's good.
for
Yeah,
someone.
it's definitely good to see that, and being a good father figure or a good father in
Hmm.
general, a good parent, and that's hard to see nowadays. You have like families that depend on nannies,
Yep.
and the nannies raise the kid. He's busy, but he makes time for his kids.
Yeah.
That's his priority. You know, acting is his passion, but his family is his priority. And you got to respect that. He wants to be in their lives, and that's hard to see nowadays.
Yeah.
Granted, you and I, we don't have any kids. We're big kids ourselves, as you see those who are watching what's behind us.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
I
God.
mean, most of our videos, we don't even have this stuff behind us.
I
We just
know.
have our green screen.
For those who are seeing this, there's Batman on one side and there's woman on another side. Batman represents me. The Wonder Woman represents my girl, Kimberly. So just in case for those who are wondering if you can see it. But anyway,
Yeah.
um,
Mine's nowhere near as organized. Purely chaotic.
no, trust me. I have not fixed the room since you last been here.
Oh no, I threw
The
everything
la-
on one side.
Good. All right. This is going to be a bitch for me to edit,
True.
but I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be a while. I don't know when it's going to happen because I still got to edit other things that we've recorded, but I had a blast. I mean, we could have talked more, but I know that his time is very valuable, and
And we went way over.
yes. All right, guys, that is our, what should we call this?
We could just slap the title later.
Tales from an Interview.
Sure.
I mean, I think it's better than Between Two Bros, which sounds like a gay movie.
And
Plus, it's taken anyway.
It sounds like it should have been on the Hub if we go with that title. Let's just put it that way.
The Hub? You mean P Hub?
Yeah, can't see it here.
Yeah. No, that's a gay porn. All right, guys.
Thank you for joining us for this experience of our first ever interview
with a person in the industry. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Until next time, will be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm Adon.
Love you, bro.
Love you too.